Welcome to the Life Atelier podcast. I'm your host, Emma Lavelle, and this week's episode, I made myself laugh too much, I think, about this, probably too much. I was going to call it Finding Your G-Spot, which about a week ago, maybe 10 days ago, I started to talk about the zone of genius. Because some of my coaching clients, members of the coaching studio, were reviewing an old training that I'd done all about values and zone of genius from the very first version of the Life Atelier, which is about 3 years ago. And at that time, strengths was a very big part of how I was coaching, teaching people to lean into their strengths, teaching people to identify their zone of genius so that they could find flow, create flow. So here's the difference. I would say, I feel like I need a backstory for this. The concept of the zone of genius is from a book called The Big Leap or The Great Leap. And I found it a very useful book at the time. I read it a couple of times. I used to read it once or twice a year. And it was all about identifying the things that do not come naturally to you and that cost energy, and then stopping doing them, basically, getting rid of them. So he has like the zone of incompetence and then the zone of competence. So these are things that anyone could do, or like you're really bad at them. Then he had the zone of excellence, which are the things that you're good at doing. People congratulate you for doing them, but they're not like you in your element, in your essence. And then there's this elusive zone of genius, which are the things that allegedly, or not allegedly, that sounds like I'm suspicious of it, but they're the things, they're your talents, your innate talents, the things that come to you so easily that you don't even think of them as a skill. So for me at the time, one of those things was ideas, right? I had no idea that other people didn't have as many ideas as me. And so what I started to do was model my business and build my business around having as much freedom to have ideas, to help other people generate ideas and implement them as possible. And that was great. And that was really useful at the time. Now, I'm going to say, having evolved my coaching style, because it's 3 years since then, I've trained as a time hacker coach. I have done a lot of things, a lot of self-development, a lot of personal work in that time, and generally really prioritized the time hacker lens. I would say it is not relevant. Your zone of genius is not relevant because one of the things that I teach inside my coaching practice is about deciding. Okay, so you get to decide what your zone of genius is. You can decide, you know what, I am really good at executing, even if executing is in finishing things. Even if up until this point you've had a story about yourself, which I used to have as like, oh, I'm someone that starts projects but never finishes them, you get to just drop that story right here, right now. Okay, you can from this point forward be the person that finishes stuff. Because how is that true? Right? One of the things that we do in the Life Atelier and in other courses when I'm working with my clients is we think about what do you want from a natural, neutral, authentic place? And we can dive into what authenticity actually is later. I'll put a link because I always put a link to it, but there's a very short video by Gabor Mate about authenticity and attachment. I recommend you watch it. Okay. But we want to decide what we want from that place, first of all, because if we're doing something because we think it will make other people happy or because society tells us to do it and it's not aligned with our authenticity, then we're creating friction, right? We're doing something we don't really want to do. But when we want something, and when we think about, okay, what parts of myself do I need to engage in? What parts of myself do I need to nourish? Because if you think about being a human, and the whole point of, strengths-based coaching is that there are all of these different strengths. Some of them cost more energy than others. So in the traditional kind of capitalist world where people are not changing their relationship with time and everything is industrialized and measured and right? Why would you do that? Why would you pick the thing that costs more energy? Why not just do the thing that's easiest? But in our world, where we're thinking about what will bring me most joy, what will bring me the most growth, the most learning, the most data, what will be the most fun for me, for who I'm becoming, it may be that you notice, I want to learn how to be that person that gets things done. Okay. And the easiest, the fastest way to do that is to think like somebody who gets things done, to check in with what are the thoughts, what are the beliefs that they have, right? To find evidence of where am I already getting things done. And what I realized was I had absolutely no problem finishing things I wanted to do, right? If I wanted to read a book and finish a book, I could finish the book. If I wanted to finish cooking something, I could finish cooking something. Did I want to finish my 7 degrees that I started? No, so I didn't. Did I want to do my economics GCSE? No, I really didn't, right? Relationships, projects. Okay, so my position today, it might change in the next, in the future, is that your zone of genius is not something that's just there. You get to decide what it is, and then you get to take your decisions to reinforce that and to hone that skill. Okay. So that brings me to our next G today, which is getting things done. And I wanted to talk about this because tomorrow we start the Getting Things Done Club. If you are watching or listening to this later and it's in May, you can still join. I'm running it throughout May. We've got a pop-up community inside the Life Atelier. We've got like flow and glow working sessions, because I was going to put co-working sessions and I was like, oh, that's not, glow, another G. But that just didn't really feel very motivating for me, right? If I think about what's another of my zone of genius things, motivating people. Okay. I will say that has stayed the same. But again, depends on my energy, right? It can be a zone of genius. I can be very, very, very good at motivating people when I prioritize personal care, space, looking after my physical health, feeling inspired, feeling like I'm having fun. If I'm feeling grumpy and tired and I'm motivating people, that's coming from a place of people pleasing, right? So again, let's just notice those things and notice how we're creating them. They're not just happening to us. So I thought about it in this Getting Things Done Club, because last week people kept saying to me, oh, I've got this idea and I've got these things, but just I'm getting stuck when it comes to doing. Okay. And so I thought, let's set up this pop-up community and we're going to be doing it throughout May. We've got these flow and glow working sessions, so much more fun than co-working sessions. They're just 30 minutes. And I think this is a really good example for you to think about, how do you get things done right now versus how do you want to get things done as the person that has the results that you want to create? Okay, so if you decide that your zone of genius is going to be somebody who has a business that serves X many people, brings in this much revenue, and they work this many hours a week, right? Which is very like the process that I went through with the 15-hour workweek mastermind. What I have to do each morning is think about, okay, the version of me that works 20 hours a week and takes the last week of each month off to recharge, not even to recharge, just to like energize and learn things and connect. How does she run a pop-up community? How does she organize the flow and glow working sessions? How does she connect with and interact with her community? How does she market this? Right. And then what happens is I start getting things done in a very different way than the version of me that just thought like, oh, well, I have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I have to plan all of these things out and I have to automate it before we start. Right. So just have a think for a moment about something that's important to you that you're currently doing and how are you getting it done or not getting it done, which is the other possibility. If you do want support and you want to learn another way of getting things done, join us. If you're listening to this, I'm waving at you. Join us in the community. We get started tomorrow, or just join us and start wherever you are later in the month. And just really go through and think about the version of you getting things done in a way of feeling how you want to feel, of feeling in control, feeling spacious, or feeling playful, or feeling powerful. Thinking about how do you want to feel as you're doing it? What thoughts are they having? How are they doing things? Now, final thing I want to say to you before I buzz off is, no, I want to say two things. One is a business announcement. So I wrote about it in the email that I sent out this morning. I upgraded my kind of walks with Rita and the mental space, the creative space that I'm giving myself in this last week, from having my phone on airplane and having no notifications to just leaving my phone at home and just going for a walk without my phone. If you're already doing that, you might think, well, what's the big deal? But for me, there was something just so much more liberating about not having the actual phone with me. It just, yeah, I don't know, it freed up something else. So one of the things that I realized on those walks was that I wanted to do like a chemistry check-in between my values and my business. And I realized that there were two areas that I was missing some magical chemistry. One was the level of joy. It had started to become like, oh, I need to do this and this, and this feels, it was starting to feel a bit heavy. Okay. And then the other thing was connection. And my first thought, I've been having this thought the last few weeks, was about doing events in Toulouse, hosting them in my yoga studio, organizing in-person workshops, in-person courses. But with where I am right now, it didn't make complete sense to do that at the moment because I need to be at home with Rita and, just different things. So I thought, let's do them online. So I have added some courses, short courses. They will be small groups, 6 people maximum, teaching components of the life balance retreat, so productivity and time freedom. There are some that are specifically for people using English as a second language, so we can talk about how you apply that to your language experience. I'm also going to be running a live version of the Minimalist Business School, so we'll do like a summer school. None of them are more than 90 days. I don't like to work more than 3 months at a time. I don't think anyone should really, because who knows what will happen. And also, like, we can capture the energy of the season and work with the seasons changing. So I saw an Instagram post this weekend from a very big coach when I was about to get on the train coming back from my Girl Gone International brunch. 18 women there from all over the world, very exciting, from a community that didn't exist a couple of weeks ago. And I opened Instagram to have a look. And the first thing I saw was this post which said, you have 24 hours left to stop feeling anxious. Or it was like 24 hours. No, that was it. 24 hours left to fix your anxiety. And I don't really have anxiety. And I read that and I felt anxious. And I thought, oh God. And then I got an email from another coach whose course I've been thinking about doing. I haven't done a course for a very long time, but I thought about, like, yeah, I might like to be in her energy. And it said like 5 hours left, 2 hours left to change your business. And it just really irritated me because I just don't think we need that urgency, right? It doesn't help anyone. There will be people that don't agree with me at all on this, but my perspective is, when I want to do yoga, I go to the yoga studio. When I want to learn a language, I go find a language teacher. When I want a coach and I'm ready for a coach, I go find a coach. Okay. So what I thought about doing was, how would it feel good for me to be selling and delivering what I'm doing in the future? And so it feels good to have these small spots. Okay. And so each of the courses has got 6 spots right now. We'll see how they go. I might do up to 12. I might do less, change the pricing. I don't know. But right now there's 6 spots. And what I'm doing is I'm just gently putting them on the website. They have different start dates, so you'll be able to see when they start and when they finish. And I will always do the first 50% cheaper. Okay, so right now there's one, which is, I think it will be $7.95 and it's currently $5.95. So that's to give you that space of, if you know that you want to work with me, I don't want you to feel pressure, I don't want you to feel stress. You can just go and have a look, see what's there, see what's coming up. You can start to save if you're not in that position right now where you've got the ready money, rather than feeling like, oh my God, I have to get it right now. We've got loads of free resources. We've got loads of cheaper things. You know, the way this has worked out with the Get It Done Club is the first 10 spots were €11, right? So there'll be all different price points for everybody, but just go and have a look. And then if you know that you want something, you can get organized and you can jump in and you can get it scheduled. There will be self-study elements so that you can start to have the self-study elements. And then if you don't, you can wait until the thing that is interesting for you comes up later. The other thing I've also done is, because our community is global, we are global, is I've added the option to pay in installments. So if a course is more than €300, you'll have the option to pay splitting it over months using Wise. So just email me and I'll organize that for you. Or you can pay in your own currency using Wise, and then it'll hit my account in euros or sterling, like whatever works best for you. So yeah, more flexibility, less hustle, less urgency, more calm, more just doing things as they feel right for us. So lovely people, lovely humans. I'll see you next week. If you are doing the Get It Done Club, big camera, or any of the courses, I'll see you in our coaching calls. And if you haven't yet joined the free community of the Life Atelier, there is a free course called the Activation Reset, which is basically, it was originally the procrastination detox, but that didn't feel very positive, so I changed it. But it will teach you how to not procrastinate. And that's a 7-day course. It's free. It's inside the community. You can get it for free by joining. Have a lovely week. Bye.